Good afternoon. Welcome to Kora, Nigeria, a place we talk about longevity for people. My name is Dr. Chimaobi, the founder of Kora, Nigeria and a consultant traumatologist. Today's video, I'm going to put you through, particularly for the bankers, the challenges of the eye health. This is what we talk about, the good, the bad, and the ugly for bankers that are at risk to destroying their eye health because of their kind of work. The eyes is usually exposed to the PC systems, the laptops, and the tablets that we use in the telecommunication places or the banks. But this is the challenge. We have three hierarchies. And what are these hierarchies? The type of emission that is emitted by these gadgets. For the laptops or PCs, they emit three radiations. Coming to the good is the photo emission radiation, what we call the blue light, blue visible light, moves up to only 50 cm within the field of operation. And this good aspect because the eye has sense to detect this photo emission. And when it's detected on a prolonged exposure, you have a recommendation to put the UV protective glasses. And you're safe there, and that's why it's the good. The bad is the second type of emission we call the radio frequency, non-ionizing radiation, which we also call the electromagnetic radiation, the radio frequency. The bad because it moves towards 150 centimeters field of vision, but the organ of sense of the sight, which is the eyes, doesn't detect it, and it penetrates within the zone. The ugly aspect of it is the third type of emission, which we call the low frequency. This is a slow killer. It moves up to 2 meters, no matter where you are. For the bad case scenario, the World Health Organization recommended you stay at a reasonable distance. You can see my system. I am staying at a reasonable distance. But the question is, what do I do about the ugly case scenario? And I'm gonna put you through what happens. On the screen, we have what we call the eyeball. The first layer of the eyeball is the cornea. The cornea have protective cells, which we call the corneal cells, in order to help shield to a level the emissions that come towards our eyes. But unfortunately, when there is a toxicity within this, the radiation coming from your laptops or PCs crosses the cornea because they create toxicity here and destroy the array of these corneal cells. And this is exactly what happens when it crosses. It's an alike pattern. It starts to affect the other structures of the eye. And that's why every banker at a serious risk of the cataract development and glaucoma on a prolonged exposure. And we're about to give you a way you can take precautions about this. Next, this is the face staying in front of the system. Once the corneal cells, in a normal situation, the corneal cells align like this. But when the radiation comes, particularly the bad and ugly case scenario, they go into alike patterns, creating more gap within for more penetration. And this is what happened because the emissions of this, the ugly case scenario, crosses 2 meters above the recommendation of 150 cm in the bad case scenario. This is the normal eyeball. In the case of glaucoma, the risk of developing glaucoma, when this rays crosses the corneal cells, destroy them, put them on an aligned pattern, we have accumulation of the human fluid, keeps accumulating here. This fluid should help control the pressure within, the intraocular pressure within the eyeball, but because of this radiation impact, part of the fluid comes to shield the corneal cells, but without success. And the pressure is included, creating the degenerative eye disease, which we call the glaucoma. Penetration continues. The trabecular meshwork that is here is destroyed. And you have damage to the optic nerve. This is the reason of glaucoma. Next, regarding the case of cataract, penetration through the cornea. Normally the cataract is opacity that is reflected on the lens. So when there is cloudiness, that means there is no possibility for the lens to do its work. Because normally when the light emission crosses, it crosses through the cornea and the shields and hits the wall of the lens. Now, clouding of this hit the wall of the lens. Here is the lens. Cloudiness within the lens cause refractive deviations, whereby the light is not focused. And this in turn, here is called the retina. The retina has what we call the macular dense region. That macular dense region, due to the reception of the light toxicity, particularly for the non-ionizing radiation, it's affected within the wall. So the degeneration starts to erupt, and that's how the cataract is developed. You can see here is the normal eyes, the focus of the normal lens, the cloudedness leading to the degeneration of the macula that causes us cataract. Unfortunately, for the normal eyes, imagine the sunflower cultivation here. You see it here, and once you start developing cataract, this is the way the vision appears because of the cloudiness of your lens. What are we saying in effect? Neotronic has been developed specifically to control and absorb emissions over 10 meters, such that the good, the bad, and the ugly are handled at the same time. When you have Neotronic installed on the left side, contralateral left side of your monitor screen, be it laptop or the PCs, automatically emissions are reduced within 10 meters field of vision. Neotronic is patterned in a way it has crystalline lattice arranged to have more affinity to the radiation coming out from your gadgets. In other words, decreasing the risk you have for intensive development of the cataract or glaucoma in the future. Again, I told you there is no treatment as of today, drug treatment as of today for the cataract. Sometimes we have some levels of eye drops for the glaucoma. The epinephrine agonist, adrenic agonists we give to patients in order to help modulate the internal ocular pressure. But we encourage you, you don't have to wait till you have the problem. You take the precautions today by installing the Neotronics. And this is how the Neotronic works. The model of the Neotronics was created such that without Neotronic, the emissions goes like this. But once Neotronic is installed, the field of emission, the pink image, shows the normal field of extensive emission of the ugly case scenario. But the blue case means the limit, you will limit the type of, no matter the type of radiation, you limit it within the zone, the blue zone. Because the crystalline lattice automatically activates once it's installed or once the system is on. Now, it's reduced in this model based on the radiation point. The riskiness of your eyes, what we call the computer vision syndrome. Computer vision syndrome is when you expose yourself for a minimum of 2 hours while sitting on your laptops. And who are predisposed? In the world, we have 1 billion users of PC or laptops. And today, 70% of these users are usually bankers or people that work in the telecommunication facilities. This is what happens to you when you sit almost 12 hours a day. But computer vision syndrome develops within 2 hours, and this is what you see in different case scenario. But imagine you as a banker sitting 12 hours, how exposed you have created for your eye health. Now when you have Neotronic, vision syndrome is greatly reduced because there's an observable level and basically negligible because there is no risk. The idea of this is install Neotronic and have a preventive measure, because if you neglect this information you're hearing today, you have a greatest risk in developing cataract and glaucoma. Although we are still doing the research work in Moscow, I've been privileged to link with the inventors of Neotronic. Research are still on in Moscow in order to ascertain also the pure confirmed evidence base of this cataract. But we are sure that this causes damage. But why don't sit, wait for the publication, preserve your health today. And as lifestyle, these are some fruits that can help you maintain your eye health, and you should appreciate getting this fruit. Also, economical reasons, in Nigeria most of these fruits are not available. For the Western world, it's readily available, but if you can reach out to any kinds of these fruits, it will be of great help to you. Preserve your being with us. We're very happy having you. As a good review, thanks for joining Coral Nigeria wherever you are today. You can visit us as you see on the screen. Visit us, you can write us, you can call us, you can as well WhatsApp us. Keep being smart and keep staying Coral. Thank you very much for today, and have a great day.